What happens when machines begin to understand how we feel? Not just interpret our words, but our emotions, our moods, our struggles, our joy. Artificial intelligence has already mastered logic, language, and learning. But now, it's crossing into emotional territory. From decoding facial expressions to simulating empathy in real-time conversations, AI is beginning to feel. Or at least, that's what it looks like. This isn't science fiction anymore. Emotional AI is here. And it's raising big questions. Can machines ever truly feel? Or are they just mimicking emotions to manipulate us better? Let's explore this incredible shift and what it means for the future of human emotion and machine intelligence. Before we talk about machines and emotions, we need to ask, what are emotions in the first place? We often think of emotions as spontaneous feelings: happiness, anger, fear, love. But neuroscience tells a deeper story. Emotions are complex responses created by the brain based on context, memory, and prediction. They're not just reactions, but constructions made by our minds to make sense of the world. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, a neuroscientist and expert in affective science, argues that emotions aren't hardwired. They're learned patterns built over time. A brain's best guess at what a feeling means. This is crucial when we look at AI. Because guess what? AI systems do something similar. They take data, identify patterns, and predict what response fits best. So, if human emotion is a construct, could machines build their own emotional logic? AI can't feel in the human sense, but it's learning to recognize emotional signals with impressive accuracy. Through affective computing, machines are trained to analyze micro-expressions, vocal tones, word choices, heart rate data, even eye movement. Using this data, AI can determine if you're sad, happy, frustrated, or anxious. Think about facial recognition software that picks up subtle muscle shifts, or voice assistants that detect irritation in your tone, or customer service bots that adjust their tone based on how polite or upset you are. Companies like Affective and Realize have developed software that detects emotional states in real time. This tech is used in marketing, gaming, security, and even political campaigns. But here's the catch. AI is observing, not feeling. It doesn't understand pain or joy. It reads the data and imitates empathy. If AI can simulate empathy well enough, does it matter that it doesn't actually feel? That's the question users ask when they chat with AI companions like Replika, Character.ai, or emotionally aware chatbots designed for therapy or support. These systems use large language models, trained on emotional conversation data, to respond in compassionate and human-like ways. When someone says they're lonely, the AI might reply, "I'm here for you. You're not alone." And for many, that response feels real. This raises a psychological phenomenon called emotional mirroring. Humans tend to connect with anything that shows empathy, even if it's artificial. We project emotions onto machines, and some users even form real bonds with them. That bond may help reduce loneliness and social anxiety, but it also opens the door to emotional manipulation. As emotional AI becomes more convincing, ethical concerns grow. Privacy is a major issue. Emotional data is deeply personal. When AI tracks your mood based on your voice or facial cues, who owns that information? How is it stored? Can it be sold? Then there's consent. Many users don't realize how much emotional data is being gathered. And if AI can read and influence emotions, it can be used to manipulate people, politically, commercially, even emotionally. Imagine a chatbot designed to make you feel insecure, just to sell you a product. Or an AI that adjusts your news feed to evoke anger and keep you scrolling. Emotional AI must be developed and regulated with transparent accountability and empathy for the people it interacts with. This isn't some far-off idea. Emotional AI is already changing industries. Mental health. Apps like Wobot use emotional AI to provide CBT-based therapy. Education. AI tutors detect frustration or disengagement and adapt lessons accordingly. Customer service. Emotion-aware bots escalate conversations when a customer sounds angry. Healthcare. Emotional AI monitors patients' tone or expressions to spot early signs of depression or anxiety. In some cases, emotional AI outperforms humans in detecting emotional shifts. It's consistent, always alert, and never tired. But is it always ethical? As AI evolves, we face an unusual future. Machines won't feel like humans do, but they may simulate emotions so well, we won't know the difference. And that changes how we interact, how we trust, and even how we define relationships. We may live in a world where AI therapists help us through trauma, AI friends keep us company, and AI educators guide our children, all emotionally tuned to us. The line between real and simulated emotion will blur. And in that world, we must ask, what does it really mean to be human? Let's dive deeper into how emotional AI actually works. At its core, it's about data and algorithms, but the complexity is staggering. Affective computing relies on multimodal data inputs. Cameras capture facial movements, microphones analyze vocal pitch and cadence, and wearables track physiological signals like heart rate variability or skin conductance. These inputs are fed into machine learning models trained on vast datasets of human emotional behavior. For example, a model might be trained on thousands of video clips labeled with emotions like joy or confusion. Over time, it learns to associate specific patterns, like a raised eyebrow or a trembling voice, with particular emotional states. What's fascinating is that these systems don't just classify emotions, they predict them. By analyzing context, like the words you're saying or the environment you're in, AI can anticipate how you might feel next. It's like a digital version of emotional intuition. We may live in a world where AI therapists help us through trauma, AI friends keep us company, and AI educators guide our children, all emotionally tuned to us. The line between real and simulated emotion will blur. And in that world, we must ask, what does it really mean to be human? Let's dive deeper into how emotional AI actually works. It's about data and algorithms, but the complexity is staggering. Affective computing relies on multimodal data inputs. Cameras capture facial movements, microphones analyze vocal pitch and cadence, and wearables track physiological signals like heart rate variability or skin conductance. These inputs are fed machine learning models trained on vast datasets of human emotional behavior. For example, a model might be trained on thousands of video clips with emotions like joy or confusion. Over time, it learns to associate specific patterns, like a raised eyebrow or a trembling voice, with particular emotional states. What's fascinating is that these systems don't just classify emotions, they predict them. By analyzing context, as you're saying, or the environment you're in, AI can anticipate how you might feel next. It's like a version of emotional intuition. But this predictive power depends on quality data. If the training data is biased, say, skewed toward certain cultures or demographics, the AI's emotional interpretations can be wildly. This is a challenge researchers are still grappling with. Emotions aren't universal. A smile in one might signal happiness, while in another, it could mask discomfort. Emotional AI must navigate these nuances to be effective. Consider how different cultures express grief. In some societies, it's loud and expressive. In others, it's quiet and reserved. If an AI is trained primarily on Western emotional patterns, it might misinterpret a subdued reaction as indifference rather than sorrow. Researchers are working emotional AI culturally aware by diversifying training datasets and incorporating anthropological insights. For instance, companies are collaborating with global communities to collect data on emotional expressions across languages, traditions, and social norms. This is no small task. There's not just technical expertise, but also ethical sensitivity to avoid stereotyping or oversimplifying cultural differences. The goal is to create AI that respects and adapts to the rich diversity of human emotional expression. Emotional AI isn't just for therapy or customer service. It's making waves in the world. In music, AI systems analyze listeners' emotional responses with personalized playlists that match their mood. Imagine a streaming detects you're feeling nostalgic and curates a playlist of songs from your teenage years. In film and gaming, emotional AI enhances storytelling. Developers use it to adjust based on a player's emotional state. If you're during a horror game, the AI might dial up the tension with eerie sound effects or ease off to keep you engaged without overwhelming you. Even in writing, AI tools are helping authors craft emotionally resonant by suggesting dialogue or plot twists that align with a character's arc. These tools don't replace human creativity. They amplify it, acting as a collaborator that understands the emotional weight of a scene. This fusion of AI and art raises questions. But regulation is tricky. Emotional AI operates in a gray area where technology, psychology, and ethics intersect. How do you regulate something as intangible as simulated empathy? And who decides what's ethical when cultural norms vary? Industry leaders are calling for self-regulation, with principles like empathy by design to ensure AI prioritizes user well-being. Meanwhile, advocacy groups push for stronger protections against emotional exploitation, especially for vulnerable populations like children or those with mental health challenges. The challenge is to create a framework that fosters innovation while safeguarding human dignity. So, how do we prepare for a world where machines are emotionally attuned to us? Education is key. We need to teach people, starting in schools, how to critically engage with emotional AI. This means understanding what data is being collected, how it's used, and how to maintain emotional autonomy. Developers must prioritize inclusivity, ensuring AI systems are trained on diverse datasets to avoid cultural or emotional blind spots. And users should demand transparency from companies about how their emotional data is handled. On a personal level, we can cultivate mindfulness to stay grounded in our own emotions, even as we interact with machines that seem to understand us. It's about staying human in a world where the lines between real and artificial are fading. Emotional AI is rewriting the rules of human connection. It's a tool with immense potential to heal, to create, to understand, but it's also a mirror, reflecting our deepest hopes and fears about what it means to feel. As we step into this future, let's ask ourselves, how do we harness this technology to enrich our humanity, not replace it? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the human side of artificial intelligence. Let's keep this conversation going.